Hello lovely friends, welcome to Vlogmas-ish here on the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Angela and you'll usually find me chatting about my adventures in fibercraft, knitting, spinning, crochet and weaving. But of course December means it's Vlogmas, so I shall be taking you through all of my fibre adventures and whatever else happens in my daily life too. I shall be posting Vlogmas videos every few days, so my plan will be to take footage of anything that happens in my days, and then once I have enough footage for a video of about 25-30 minutes long, I shall gather everything together and post the videos here for you. So I hope you will enjoy the format and thank you for spending your December days with me. So it's Monday the 1st of December, it's a work day for me, so I'm starting my day in the usual way with a morning cuppa and cuddles with my cat Newt, and it's feeling festive here in the darkness of the early morning today because we popped our Christmas tree up yesterday, so it's quite nice to sit with that extra light on these cold, dark and sometimes dreary mornings. I'm starting this Monday in the usual way. I shall be heading out to my day job, as I call it, later on this morning. But as I'm an early riser, I tend to get up and do a little bit of video editing before I head out to the office. So I'm trying to do that. I'm squeezing in a little bit of sock knitting and of course some breakfast. And this morning I've got an extra job to do as well because I am passing up a couple of orders that came in over the weekend. I have a sale page on Instagram which is always linked below my videos where I pop up sale stock from my shop, and I had a few orders come through over the weekend, so thank you to anyone who placed an order, and hopefully by the time this video goes up you will all have received your packages by now. So with those jobs done, there was some daylight before I had to leave the house, so I am squeezing in some time to open my advent calendars. I will talk more about my advents probably tomorrow because I've got a day at home tomorrow, so I'll have a bit more time to sit in front of the camera and chat to you. But I have a tea advent calendar which you can see me opening today's tea. It's from the English tea shop. It was a bit of a last minute purchase, this one. I've got a nice cup of black tea tropical blend to try later on this morning, which will be a nice little treat for me. I also have a fibre advent that I purchased from Wonderful Wool, and the theme was birds of a feather. So yeah, day one, Crimson Rosella, which is actually a bird that I've never heard of before, so I am going to quickly look up that bird once I've opened up my package here today. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this one. The blend in this advent calendar is Cormo and Lotus Fibre. Oh, that's a beautiful one to start the calendar, isn't it? Pinks, purples, a little shot of blue in there. Lovely. And apologies for the bad lighting here, but it's a very dull day here in South Wales. But here is the bird as shown on Google. I have a second fibre advent, and this one is a swap that I have been doing with my lovely friend Lisa. We've been doing this for quite a few years now. So here is day one of that advent. Ooh, look at this. Oh, this colour is so lovely and calming. It sort of reminds me of frosty trees, I think. So we usually swap 20 grams of fibre each day. And there are some treats in the bag as well. So there's a nice oat bar, which I shall take to work with me to keep me going through my morning at work. A chocolate bar, a plop. Yes, I have a childish sense of humour, I can't help it. I remember having one of these when we went to Sweden, and I haven't seen one since, so I wonder where Lisa got those. And some lovely eclairs as well, which are sort of toffee sweets with a little bit of chocolate in the middle, if you've not seen those ones before. What a lovely start to both of my advent calendars. I'm also going to pick a project from my Christmas box. This is a tea box that I'm repurposing for this. I'll talk more about this again tomorrow, but I'm picking a project from the box to work on for the next few days. So first project is my Revo t-shirt. So yeah, I shall definitely chat about my projects a little bit more as we go through. Sadly, that was all I had time for at home. So this footage is from the office. And oh look, I am all alone on a Monday morning, surprise, surprise. I wonder what troubles I can get up to. Not much, as luck would have it, although I did manage to squeeze in a bit of sock knitting on my lunch break, so that's always fun. And again, I'll chat to you a little bit more about my sock project when I can properly sit in front of the camera and share with you a little bit more detail. And after my day at work, honestly, I was really tired. Some days I'm absolutely fine, and then other days work just wipes me out for whatever reason. I have to look at spreadsheets and I'm looking at a screen all day, so I think it depends on how sort of spreadsheet and screen heavy my day is as to how tired I feel at the end of it. So really all I managed to do on this Monday evening was spin through the fibre in my advent from Lisa. I've decided to spindle spin my fibres this year. I want to try and practice spinning a little bit thicker for a specific project, and I've decided that I think doing that on a spindle will be just a little bit easier for me than if I tried on my e-spinner for various reasons. And again, maybe I'll chat about that a little bit more when I have a little bit more time and energy to explain where I'm going with my spinning project this year. And hello lovely friends, welcome to my 2nd of December, it's Tuesday. I have a day off work, which I am super happy about. I did not manage to get in front of the camera yesterday, but I did take a few clips for you. So yeah, my first day of Vlogmas, the 1st of December, was a work day, and it just kind of whizzed by. So I managed to open my advent calendars, and that was about it. I did a little bit of spinning, a little bit of sock knitting, but apart from that I didn't manage to do anything else. For today I'm really happy to have this time to sit down and chat to you and properly talk about my advents. Yeah, just have a nice lovely relaxing day. I am determined to try and do just stuff for me today. I mean, there's always certain chores around the house that you have to do every day, right? But this is a proper day off work, so I am hoping later to go into Cardiff to go to the cinema. And aside from that, I'm planning on spinning, knitting, relaxing, maybe doing a bit of reading, we shall see. Having said that, I've already been out to do some errands this morning. It's a little bit later in the day than I would usually get started on a video like this. But I needed to pick up a couple of Christmas gifts for family. I don't have a huge amount of stuff to get, but I do have 4 nephews and a niece, so I like to get them a little something. And they all live away from me, so I want to get that stuff done this week to get everything off in the post. So yeah, I've been out. You might have seen that I picked myself up a little treat. from one of our lovely local bakeries. Now, I do try to eat mostly gluten-free because I'm gluten intolerant, but occasionally I just treat myself to something lovely and glutinous, and this morning it was a amazing rhubarb pastry. I am sitting down now to chat to you about my advents. You will have already briefly seen them, or at least yesterday's packages from those advents, but as I say, didn't have time to properly chat to you about them, so I'm going to do that today. First off, let me just talk to you about my little added bonus advent. This is a little tea calendar, and I went to my local high street on Saturday to grab a couple of bits and pieces, and I went into one of our local charity shops, and they had these marked down half price, I guess because there was only a couple of days left till the beginning of December. So I decided to pick myself up a tea advent. This one is from the English Tea Shop. So while I've got it here, we might as well have a look to see what today's tea is. And they're really cutely labelled, and you can just grab each tea. It's in its own little envelope. So this one is chai black tea, and I do like chai, so I shall look forward to brewing that up either later today or later in December. And yeah, they have these like cute little envelopes on them. I might save these envelopes and make my own tea calendar for next year. I think that would be quite fun. I've got sort of teas that are my favourites, so yeah, I could make my own if I can put these little envelopes away somewhere safe and remember where I put them. I am also doing a little swap with one of our wonderful community members, Celeste. We decided to do a scrappy yarn swap, and Celeste reached out to me right back at the beginning of 2025, so we've been planning this this year. Now, I'm happy to report that the package that I sent to Celeste has reached her okay, but the package that she has sent to me is in transit somewhere. Not quite sure where it is or when it will arrive. So Celeste sent me the tracking number for it, and when I pop it into the Royal Mail website here, it just says that the package has been received by the Postal Service in the US and it's on its way, but that's as detailed as the tracking info is, so I have no idea whether that one will arrive today or in a few weeks' time, who knows, but hopefully it will get here at some point. So my plan for that one, I think, is if it arrives at some point this week, then I will probably catch up and open the packages and then carry on opening them on a daily basis. But if it doesn't arrive until next week sometime, or even later than that, then I will probably save that and I will use it as a Jan vent. So I will open those packages in January, because all of the festivities are over in January and it can be quite a sort of long and grey month here, particularly if you're in the UK. Short days, long nights, cold weather, it can be, yeah, a little bit of a slog to get through after all of the fun sort of festivities are done. So I figured if that package is really late, then I might save that for a little treat for January, so we shall see. I also have two fibre advents, one that I purchased and I'd completely forgotten that I purchased this. I think I purchased it on a whim. And I'm not going to say that I regret purchasing it, because I absolutely don't. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely amazing and I will love spinning the fibre when the time comes. But it's not really something that I needed, and yeah, as I say, I'd kind of forgotten that I purchased it. But it's from Wonderful Wool, which is a Welsh company. In this box is their, I think it was called the Birds of Paradise Advent. And again, you will have seen me opening the first package yesterday. But it's come beautifully packaged. It's a bit tricky for me to hold this up because it's quite a big box, but you can see there's a lovely peacock feather on top, and there are some other feathers scattered throughout the calendar. There's also a playlist. Oh, it's called Birds of a Feather. I thought it was Birds of Paradise, but yeah, Birds of a Feather Advent. So there's a playlist with all different songs featuring birds or bird associated things in the title. So the song for day one was Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and today's song is Blackbird by the Beatles. So that's really fun. And I'll try and take a shot of what the package looks like. There are some extra goodies sort of scattered in to the package, and they're sort of tucked between the main fibre parcels for each day. So I'm going to be just discovering those as and when they pop up. So yeah, this is going to be a fun one to open, I think. I don't really have any spinning plans for this fibre. As I say, I kind of forgotten that I'd ordered it, to be honest. I'm not likely to spin it this month. If I do get extra spinning time, I am planning to try and continue with my spin the bin challenge. I've got a bunch of plying to do for that challenge. I've also got one more 100-gram braid to spin through and a spindle spin in progress. So yeah, any extra spinning time that I have will be spent trying to get through my spin the bin challenge. So while I've got this box open, I may as well open day 2, and day 2 is toucan, which we all know is a really lovely colourful bird. So I'm expecting some really bright fibre in this one. We shall see. See if, oh, peek in there together. That looks super bright and fun. Oh, lovely. So there's yellows and reds and greens. Really fun. So yeah, I'm sure this will be a really fun spin when the time comes, but I'm not in any rush to spin through this calendar. Oh, I can already see tomorrow, day 3, is robin, and robin is one of my favourite birds, so I'm looking forward to that one already. Always my favourite part of Advent is the fibre swap that I do with my wonderful friend Lisa. This is the bag of Lisa's Advent, and I shall show you a shot of what's inside. There's lots of little baggies of fibre all put together for me by my lovely friend, and it's always such a joy to open these. I really appreciate the time and effort that Lisa puts into putting together these Advents, and it's always a highlight for me putting together Lisa's Advent as well. This year we both decided to try and keep things a little bit simple. We both had sort of quite busy family years. I'm looking forward to spinning through my Lisa Advent, as I'm going to call it. And I am planning on trying to spin through these fibres every day if I can, or catching up if I get a little bit behind. And yesterday I opened my package, as you would have seen, and I've decided to spindle spin these fibres. I am aiming to spin a thicker yarn this year. I've got a particular project in mind that I'd like to try and cast on as part of 12 cast-ons this year. I feel that I have a little bit more control when I'm trying to spin intentionally thicker singles when I'm spindle spinning than I do on my e-spinner. I'm not very practiced at spinning thicker yarns. I tend to try to spin as finely as I can. So this is going to be like a good practice for me, trying to spin consistently thicker singles. But anyway, this is the fibre from day 1 all spun up. I am going to wind this off my spindle after I've finished talking to you, and I'm just going to be 2-plying these yarns, so I shall ply that up later today. Here we are, number 2, and I'm trying so hard to open these packages really carefully. We're trying to get into the habit of, you know, reuse, recycle and use these packages for several years. So I'm peeling back. These bags and the stickers were what I sent my Advent to Lisa in last year. So yeah, right, let's have a peek. Ooh, 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 orange. Okay, let's empty this out, and then I'll share with you, whoops, what's inside. So I've got some nice rooibos tea, love that. I have a plop, and then, oh my goodness, today's fibre, wow. Absolutely gorgeous, cannot wait to spin this. I am going to assume this is wool with either some silk or some bamboo, something like that. I would imagine silk. Ah, can you tell? I'm super happy with today's package. Thank you so much, Lisa. Okay, so that is all of the Advent fun today. I think the only other thing I want to chat to you about before I get on with the rest of my day is how I am trying to structure my making for December. Now, if you watch the channel for a while, you'll know that I usually have a making plans video at the beginning of each month where I try to set myself some priorities for the month. But I've decided not to do that for December. I want to try to concentrate on the projects that I've got left on the list that I set back in September, I think it was, where I picked out all of my projects that were closest to being finished. I made a good start on that, and I finished a couple of sweaters, I finished a cowl, I've finished quite a few pairs of socks, but there's still 4 sweaters that are near-ish to completion. Originally I thought, right, okay Ange, the goal was to try and finish as many things as possible. Let's pick the project that's closest to being finished, work on it until it's finished, and then if we've got time we'll pick up something else. But also I know myself, yeah. There's a reason I have so many projects on the needles, which if you've followed here for a while you shall know. And it's because I like to jump around and do different things. I know that if I tell myself you can only work on this project until it's finished, I'll be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Those little gremlins in my brain will be like, yeah. And I'll end up just procrastinating and I won't get much done. So what I have decided to do, and you would have seen me draw a project for my little box yesterday, I have put each of those 4 projects into this box 4 times, and every 3 days I'm going to pull out a new slip of paper and I'm going to work on that project for a concentrated period of 3 days, and then I shall swap things around. I mean, it could be that I end up working on the same project for the first 12 days. But every time I pull out a project, I'm not going to be putting it back in, so the chances of pulling something different will get higher the more times each project comes out of the box. That's just the way that I'm going to do it. It might mean that I finish one thing, it might mean that I finish nothing in December, but I'm feeling much happier about this approach. I know that swapping things out every few days will give me the incentive to work on that project as much as I can. I will make more progress by taking this scattered approach than if I just concentrated on one thing, which I know will seem backward to some people, but that's just the way my brain works. And I know that this is the way that I'm going to get the most done. So yesterday I picked out the Revo project, which is a t-shirt project that I started back in the summer for Kirsty Knits and Sews, her knit-along, her t-shirt knit-along. I didn't actually get to work on this yesterday. All I did was pull the project out and figure out where I was. I was just really tired. It was that Monday kind of feeling. This is my Revo, which is a pattern that was first published in Pom Pom magazine. I finished the back in terms of the length that is specified in the pattern, but I've also just popped it on a spare cable in case I want to lengthen my garment before I put the ribbing on. It is constructed in such a way that you knit the back and then you pick up and then you knit down the front. So that is what I'm doing at the moment. And I think I worked out last night that I've got about 5 or 6 more stripes. I think it's 6 more stripes until my front and back are the same length. The first thing I really need to do before I get knitting is weave in some of these ends. I've done it all for that back piece, but I haven't done it on the front. So before I add much more length to this, I'm going to spend a little bit of time weaving in these ends. I'm hoping to do a little trip to the cinema today on my little day off. So I will be doing some sock knitting. I'm going to be taking, actually I'm probably going to take 2 pairs of my Christmas socks out with me. These are the final 2 pairs in my Christmas sock challenge that I started as part of 12 cast-ons this year. If you happen to be watching this as the first video, you are most welcome. 12 cast-ons is a make-along that I host each year, whereby I cast on a bunch of new projects, 12 new projects, to try and set myself up for my making year. And there'll be much more coming about the 12 cast-ons because the make-along for this year will start on the 24th of December. I have got 2 more pairs of socks to finish. I have just finished the colourwork section of the first sock, where I'm using the vintage tinsel colourway from West Yorkshire Spinners, and now I just need to do some plain knitting down to the heel. So I'm going to take this with me to the cinema. I think I've got 30 rows of plain knitting to do before I get to the heel. I'm not sure how long the movie is that I'm going to see today, so 30 rows may or may not be enough to keep me going through that cinema experience. So just in case, I'm also going to be taking my newest sock that I've cast on, which is called Vintage Baubles, I think. I'll put pattern details on the screen. And this pattern was gifted to me last week by my lovely friend Robin. One of the test knitters for this pattern used the mulled wine colourway, which is the new Christmas colourway from West Yorkshire Spinners this year. And I thought, yes, I'm just going to knit this. I'd originally cast on a different sock, but I just wasn't getting on with it. And so I decided to jump in and do this, and I finished almost a full sock since I cast this on last Wednesday, maybe Thursday. The shape of this sock is cracking me up because you go up a needle size to accommodate for the colour work. Colour work is a bit less stretchy than your usual just plain knitted fabric. And then for the foot, the top of the foot has this ribbed pattern, so it's got this really kind of balloon effect. But yeah, as you can tell, I have been obsessively knitting on this. I've really enjoyed it. I've got about 20 or so rows left, I think, before I'm about to put in the toe. So yeah, I'm going to take this one with me as well to probably work on the train journey, and then I'll also have it as a little backup if the film runs long and 30 rows isn't enough. Because I am planning on doing quite a lot of knitting and spinning this month, I do want to find something else to do as well to give my hands a little bit of a break from those activities. And my solution is going to be to try and work on and potentially finish my Christmas mousse cross stitch. This light really isn't great for showing these projects. I'm really close to finishing the cross stitch part of this. I've just got a little bit of the village scene in his antler to finish up the top here. And then there's quite a lot of embellishment on this. There is some fluffy clouds to add. I think there's like a string of lights, so there's beads to add. And then there's backstitch to add as well. So I think I'm going to plan to try and work for half an hour on this project every time that I am at home in daylight. So not every day, but when I'm at home during the daytime. It wasn't quite dark enough to share Cardiff Christmas lights when I left the cinema, so I shall be sure to pop back into Cardiff another day to share those with you in their full glory. I spent my evening working on the Revo t-shirt, weaving in the ends with the company, first of Andrea from Karcher Makes, and then also Caroline from Colourful Creativity, catching up on the first couple of days of Caroline's Vlogmas. Eventually I got those ends woven in and I finally started knitting, adding a few rows to the Revo, which was a nice way to spend a part of my evening. However, I had done a lot of knitting today at the cinema. I managed to get through both of the pairs of socks that I took with me, and I'll talk to you more about that probably tomorrow. So I decided to spend the very last part of my evening doing a bit of plying for my Spin the Bin challenge. It looks a bit of a mess in the box because the cat has been playing with the yarn turtles, with the yarn turtles. She was also inspecting my spinning, and I think she thought that maybe she'd done something so naughty that she had to go and hide under the Christmas tree. I'm wrapping up Vlogmas here today, first part, as I've already got around about 30 minutes of footage. I did a lot of talking today. I thought my first part of Vlogmas might be for the first 3 days of December, but yeah, I did a lot of chatting, so thank you for watching, and hopefully I shall be back again soon in a few days' time. I hope you will join me then, but until we do get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to for the first few days of December. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.